Let's heal the world. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to episode 13, the finale of Lazarus. And it's weird to think that we're already here, because I've talked about it before in a multitude of these reactions. But, I've been, waiting for this series for literal years. When it was first announced, again, I think right after, Carol and Tuesday. I don't know why my mind blanked on that. I think right after that came out, it was announced that his next project would be Lazarus, and it was given the basic concept and everything. And I've been waiting for it ever since, and it finally came out, and I've been loving it. But it's weird to think that after following it for so long that it's over. Because like Carol and Tuesday, this is a one and done. This is not like a multi-season thing. It's not meant to be. It's a single story. And I like that. I like that Shinichiro Watanabe has been kind of focusing more on these, singular short stories. Cowboy Bebop was a single thing and a movie, but it was also a lot longer. Samurai Champloo, I believe, is a two-core series. I think it has 24, 26 episodes. You have Terror in Resonance was one and done, to be fair. Space Dandy has 2 seasons, but that's also a lot lighter of a show. But the point is, he did Carol and Tuesday, now he's doing this, and both are one and dones. They're not meant to continue. Yeah, you could imagine what would happen, and technically speaking, there could absolutely be more material that you could go through. But that's not the point. These shows are very clearly here to share a message, share certain themes, and cover a topic that you really need to work towards. With Carol and Tuesday, the entire series is working towards the 7-minute miracle. The 7-minute miracle is the end goal of the series right from the start. It tells you this literally right at the beginning of episode 1. And so when you see that at the end of the final episode, that's it. That is the goal. Yes, you could see it continuing from there. You could imagine what the characters would do after that point. But that's missing the point if you actually really want it to continue, because it's that was, again, everything I was working towards, and all of the main story and themes and everything were wrapped up perfectly in those 7 minutes. That was the closure of the series. And with this series, it's we have this wonder drug. It's going to kill people because it metastasizes into a poison. And the only way to stop it is to find Skinner within this certain amount of time and have him, give out the antidote because of finding him and everything. And so once we find him, once we get the antidote out, once we stop all of this from happening, it's that's the end. It's yeah, you could see these characters going on and doing other stuff probably, but that's missing the point. And with this series also touching on such serious topics as environmentalism and whatnot, it's the main point of it is to get its themes across in a short, concise way that allows it to be both educational and entertaining. And I think that this series really actually balanced that well, because there is a lot of educational shit in it. Some of the stuff it discusses and topics it touches on. Yeah, I really loved this series, and I'm very excited to see what Shinichiro Watanabe does next. I haven't heard anything as of yet as to another project, but we'll see. And when whatever his next project is does come out, I will definitely be watching. But we still have this one last episode to get to. And we found out last episode where Skinner is. After all of this craziness the characters have gone through, he's right back where we started. He's literally right next door, basically, to where they've been the entire time, the headquarters of Lazarus. He's in the homeless community that we met Jill at and everything. We've literally been there. I didn't go back and check because I feel like I want to see naturally like maybe what he's dressed as, and then I'll go back and check and see if I can find him in episode 2, I think it is. Because then it's like I think that would be like really cool to see. It's sort of like in Gravity Falls, how when you see the Time Traveler's Pig episode, and you realize Blendon had been back, it had like gone back to all those previous episodes. Then you go back and check those previous episodes and see him in there, and it's like genius, absolute cinema. It's like fantastic. It's like that. You want to see it within the context first, and then go back and check. So I'm curious because I'm going to pay attention, obviously, to what he's dressed in. What I mean, we know what he looks like, but I mean, I wonder if he is like in the background of a shot or two during that part in the episode, and it's just like you just didn't notice because you didn't expect him to be there. um, I'm very curious. And I have a lot of theories about how this is going to end with Hapna as well, in terms of the cure for that and all. I have a lot of theories about this all. So I'm very curious about that too, how exactly it's going to wrap that up. Um, and I just want to see how it wraps things up with the characters. Plus, we also have to kind of finish things up with this assassin guy and the entire shit with the army going down. It feels like we have a lot still to finish here, but I trust that it will be. I trust that in these like 23 minutes or so, that it will be wrapped up properly and that it will be satisfying. I have no reason to distrust Shinichiro Watanabe. But we're going to get into this and see how this does close things out. So let's get into it. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So it wasn't episode 2, it was episode 3. I went back and looked when they went to the homeless community and everything. There's a point where they're looking for Jill before they know, Jill has transitioned and everything. I'm not going to dead name her, but they're looking for Jill. And they're asking around, and at one point they ask who we now know is Skinner. Doug asks him, have you seen, again, not going to dead name her, but Jill. And someone else who's there says, hey buddy, this guy can't see anyone. Anything. It's like that was him all along. Shinichiro Watanabe's the GOAT, man. It's like, to have that in there from episode 3 to show Skinner, like, right in front of our eyes and just have it, like, to where we just would have no idea that was him. But then when we find out, it's like it's pretty obvious. Like looking back on it, it's like I went and again I checked the scene and it's like, oh yeah, that's very obviously him, even though he's wearing the glasses and the different outfit and everything than we were like used to seeing him in the video messages and the flashbacks and stuff. It's like it was so blatantly him. You could tell by the facial hair and everything. It's like, wow. Oh, okay. Um, Let me check something here, real quick. Okay, I wanted to see if the shot showed him like with the flower. It doesn't. You don't see the flower in the shot, the tulip. Um, it's just a single shot, a single scene. It shows three people. There's a woman there. There's Skinner, and then there's another guy with like a towel over his shoulder and wearing a hat himself. Yeah, he says Doug asks him if he knows Jill, and he says the guy you're talking to can't see anything. And then it switches scenes, and it's like it shows Axel finding Jill, and so it's like it's the only scene that shows Skinner in this in the episode. But the fact that it shows him there, the fact that we actually get to see him, is crazy wild. It's so cool to see. It's just such an unexpected little moment. But again, once you know, it's so obvious. It's just in the moment while you're watching, you don't think about it. You have no reason to think that he would be there. But let's talk about this episode. So it's kind of split into two halves. The first half closes out the assassin storyline, and the second half closes out the rest. So we see the assassin storyline kind of come to a head when Axel leaves his bed despite still being injured and goes to meet up with him. They continue to have a fight on top of Babylonia Tower. A helicopter even gets involved. And eventually the angel on the tower starts to fall, slicing through, with its wings slicing through the tower like a knife. And the entire kind of thing that we learn through this and that we see as even the assassin is dying and all, is that, like, this guy is a victim. Like, with everything we learned, it's like he was literally brainwashed against his will to become this assassin, this cold, emotionless assassin. But whether it's because of his DID or other reasons, he was able to snap out of it long enough to kill everyone there. Unfortunately, his, I guess, master, kind of a gross way to put it, but I guess accurate, does some brainwashing technique at the very end before he dies that causes the assassin, again, I can't remember his name, but to forget pretty much everything. And it fucks him up, and although he works as an assassin after this, although he, like, kind of goes in the direction that he was brainwashed into, it's like his DID, like, has him, like, form these two separate personalities. And on top of that, he just struggles with this mental image that he can't quite remember about the Hundun, and like he's a victim. And like I said, with a lot of people, it's like when they do some bad stuff, it's like, okay, yeah, your choices are your own, but you really can't say that about him. He has literally been emotionally fucked up and brainwashed to the point where it's literally not his choice. He's literally like, he's not crazy, that would be the wrong word for it, but he's not mentally sound. He's not mentally sound to be able to make informed decisions to any kind of healthy degree. I kind of wish he didn't die and could have maybe gotten some kind of psychological help. Because it's like I really did feel bad for him in the end. He absolutely was a victim of everything going on. But let's go into the second half. So the second half focuses on everyone coming back together and finally finding Skinner. We reconvene with Jill, and the cop from the first episode returns. Everything is just kind of connecting. We see the army guy get arrested, and I love his excuse. It's like, oh, all these other countries are making those bioweapons. We'll fall behind. It's like, bitch, two wrongs don't make a right. This is kindergarten shit. Like, what? Unfortunately, it's very real. I hate to say it, but that's the US government for you. Uh, Especially our current government. Jesus, fuck, this is relevant. Like, okay, if you don't want to hear political shit, which is completely fair, I don't blame you. Skip ahead a little bit, but I'm gonna get political here for a moment. I'm gonna talk about our fucked up American government, and specifically that absolute cunt bag, Trump. So you may have heard, I'm sure you have, about Trump having, bombed Iran. And this was like touted as a way to stop the warring and everything happening. But it's like everybody's pointed this out. It's like you're bombing a country to try and stop war. What? Do you starve people to try and stop the world from being hungry? It's like it makes no fucking sense. You're literally propagating war and possibly like instigating the US getting into this war as a way to try and like stop these countries from fighting each other. You're making up these completely fake ceasefires, and then you like throw hissy fits when like these countries don't adhere to them. It's like they didn't agree to a ceasefire. You made this up. And then you're upset when Israel continues to bomb shit? What? Trump and just the people in charge are so fucking stupid. It's not even just a case of how evil they are, though. Very evil, like just atrociously fucked up. It's also just a case of how fucking dumb they are, which unfortunately can go hand in hand way too often. There's a lot of cases where like some of the most evil people in the world were extremely smart. But there's also cases where, no, they're just fucking stupid and they think they're doing good. But anyone with any level of brain cells to rub together would know otherwise. And unfortunately, like 40% of this country or so are so aggressively brainwashed that they don't understand anything and think that he's the good guy here because they're either so fucking stupid themselves, or they're just brainwashed and don't understand how everything he does is bad, like morally, ethically, politically. He's just a bad person. There is no gray area here. This is actually one of those rare cases where it is pretty damn fucking black and white. He is bad. He is evil. And he's stupid evil, which is dangerous. Not that smart evil is that much better. It's still evil, but, Anyway, political rant over. I felt it was relevant. Seeing this guy like try to make this excuse in this series as like for his actions and everything, it's like, and then for him to flaunt it at the end, it's like, Oh, how are you going to prove anything? You have to hope that your guy is your proof, your living evidence is still alive. It's like, bitch, you are not in a position to gloat and to taunt Abel at this time. Like, you are fucking going to prison for life. Probably multiple life sentences. Hell, like, depending on where you are, you might even be able to get a death sentence for like treason and shit. But it's interesting because we learn a lot of new information with this episode too. Stuff that we kind of got hints at before, like with the entire the incident in the airport. Like we got a little bit of that before, but now we get the full story. The government had fucked up his hapna and everything, and it was all poisoned, and he was trying to make people aware of it. That's why he was in the airport in the first place, but it leaked out of his briefcase, and all these people died, and that really fucked him up, and that's what caused him to go into this entire situation currently, because it would get people's attention, and it absolutely fucking did. um he wanted to make people aware of what was happening, especially seeing that kid die from this. It's it's really wild that it wasn't actually his doing. It wasn't actually his fault. Because we had no reason to believe otherwise. It was like he basically said that he did this, but it wasn't him, and he was just trying to save people this entire time. But he also had lost a lot of hope after that incident at the airport. That's why he kind of made this into that like find me, that hide and seek game, because he had to make sure there were still going to be people who would be willing to want to fix things. He had to be sure that there would be people who would care. And that's why he kept it all in his head that entire time. The formula completely in his mind. Because he wanted to make sure no one else could get it and fuck with it like they did with Hapna in the first place. But he also wanted to make sure that there was reason for people to have it. Like it was even brought up at the end. Like, what do you think of the world and all? It's like, yeah, it's a pretty fucked up place, but there are bright spots too. And you saw that was exactly the answer he was looking for. It's like he wasn't looking for someone to just like say, "Oh, the world's great, everything's happy." No, because that would be like entirely false and just unrealistic, and let's be honest, probably kind of fucked up to say. Because that would mean you'd be ignoring so much pain, so much bad, so much evil, so much terrible shit going on. That would not be the answer you'd want to hear. But he also doesn't want to hear that it's like completely fucked and there's no hope. Because if he hears that, it's like, what's the point anymore? At that point, just let everything happen. He wanted he wanted someone to find him who would acknowledge the evils and troubles of the world, but who would also work to fix it, who would see hope, who would see the potential of the future. And that's why when they succeeded and everything, that's why his words were like, "I leave the world to you." This is a message for us as viewers as well, that we are in the world is in our hands, and that we need to take care of it. We need to work to fight against and stop tyranny and environmental damage and so much more. This is like a message specifically to bring people to action. And it doesn't have to be as extreme of actions as like our team here took, but it has to be action. And then there was the big twist. We find out that the entire team of Lazarus, all five of them, were chosen specifically because they were in the airport when the poison went off. They were in the airport all at the same time, but for some reason, although they like medically died, the something happened within them that mutated their DNA to create like this immunity to it, allowing them to come back from death. Hence why Abel referred to the team as Lazarus. I might have mentioned this in the first episode, but let's bring it up again. If you don't know the biblical story of Lazarus, Lazarus was the brother of a friend of Jesus's. And he and Jesus were very close as well. He died, and his sister came to Jesus, uh, just for help and all. And Jesus, because Lazarus was someone he cared about so greatly, went to his tomb and raised him from the dead. Lazarus is literally someone in the Bible who was raised from the dead. And that's the idea here. All five members of this team, the outside of, Hirsch and Abel and all, were people again who legally medically died. But they were raised from the dead and have now like been at first forced into this task force to save the world. And at the end, it's like they're given their complete freedom. They're pardoned of everything they've done. And they're given the choice. Based on everything that you've learned, everything you've seen over all this time trying to, find Skinner. Do you want to stay together as a team and work to right other wrongs, to fight for this world and its people? And one by one, they all agree. Because they've all seen the environmental damage that has happened with this world, from like the islands near the Maldives and all. They've seen just what the people of this world have kind of become. They've seen the government having interfered and done horrible shit. And they've even seen an assassin who was, raised from childhood and brainwashed to be an emotionless killing machine, and who was a victim of just this horrific treatment. They've seen all of this shit, and they want to help work towards a better future. Because they've also seen a lot of bright spots. A nice old woman who served them baklava. A thriving homeless community that has each other's backs. People who are willing to help even at the cost of, the potential cost of their own safety. And so on and so forth. They've found a lot of hope in this world, just as much as the darkness within it. Because darkness doesn't truly exist without light to balance it out. Darkness and light are two sides of the same coin. They need each other to exist. And we see both here. And you should always fight for a world with more light. You should always fight against the darkness. You know it's never going to be fully gone. It's impossible. But you should always fight to make things better as best you can. That's the message. And again, it's obviously tackling multiple things. The government, environmentalism, etc., etc. So this, like pretty much all of Shinichiro Watanabe's works, is almost kind of reaching out to us as viewers and pleading with us to take action. And it's a little more on the nose about it than some of his works. Like, some of his works have been a little more subtle. Like Cowboy Bebop is a little more subtle with its messages. But I actually like shows like this and Carol and Tuesday where he is being very direct. Where it is very blatant and on the nose. Because it needs to be said, and a lot of times people don't get it if it's not this direct. People will look at a show like Cowboy Bebop, and there's so many people who just ignore the queer characters and other themes of it. People ignore the themes that Samurai Champloo has about like culture and everything. And they're just like, oh, this is just a cool show. It's just cool action, fun fights, really great, funny characters. It's like, no, this show is much more than that. It's saying so much about humanity. And you focus on just cool action. Cool action's great. Like, really fun characters is awesome. No one's saying anything about that being bad, because it's not. A good series should have great characters, an awesome story. Should be something that hooks you in and invests you. But Shinichiro Watanabe's always also been about the message. And no matter what form that takes, he's been a master at that. He's one of the... He is pretty universally recognized as one of the best anime directors out there. And this is the kind of reason why. Because his shows are much deeper than the surface level would make you think. They have so much to them. They have great characters, they have great stories, they have great action, but they also have great themes. And this does stick with people. I would say, like, overall, Carol and Tuesday is still better than this for me. But honestly, in terms of Shinichiro Watanabe's works, I would put this as a close enough second. It's not, like, directly behind it, but I would say it's a close enough second to Carol and Tuesday for me. There are some things that I feel like were done a little better, some things that were not as good, and that's just going to happen. I feel one notable thing that I would change about this is making it a couple more episodes long. Like, not like a full second core, but like instead of 13 episodes, like if they could have somehow gotten away with making it like 15 episodes, like 15 or 16 I think would have been good. It would have been a weird number, yes. And anime doesn't usually do that, which is the problem. Usually it's either a single core, a double core, or it's just one of those that just doesn't really have a set limit and usually goes to like 30 or 60 something episodes or something, or just gets really long and it's an ongoing thing for a long time. It's not seasonal, it's just ongoing. And I know it would be harder to do with like something like 15, 16 episodes, but I kind of wish that they just had a couple more episodes. to set a few things up a little better. Like the assassin storyline is great, but it could have been better. And I kind of wish there was a little more to hint about their immunity, because like prior to this episode, like unless I just missed something myself, I thought Axel was just the special one. I mean, in reality, he was just his special factor came from the fact that he was, being experimented on at the prison, and he was living evidence against the government and all. That was where that came in, but I kind of felt like he was like it was hinting that he was like special in regards to the Skinner and Hapna stuff as well. And I just wish they had like a little more time to like set up the fact that all of them had like this kind of immunity. The only other hint we got towards that was the fact that Elena did get the Hapna sickness but then recovered. But we did it was like pretty much at the end of the series anyway, so but yeah, like it's not a perfect series, but it's really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I was like really hooked in every single week for every episode. And I'm glad I didn't wait to get to this. I'm glad I checked this out like as it was airing and just really got in on it as it came out weekly. I'm glad it had a weekly release too. It's like that's so good. It proves like it this is definitely proof of how like better the weekly release is than the binge model. Because people have been talking about this still. That's the thing. Lazarus has still gotten discussion because of that. Rather than just, people talking about it for like maybe a week or two and then moving on. It has that staying power because of that. This was a great series. And I'm satisfied with how it ended. Even though, again, I think a couple things could have been better with a couple more episodes. Things could have been handled a little better. It's like, I'm still satisfied. Everything was wrapped up well. And I enjoyed the ride. So, that brings us into what is going to replace this. For Wednesdays, that's going to join Adventure Time, starting next week. Well, I think we're just going to stick with the vibe. If something's going to join Adventure Time, I kind of want to stick with that same vibe. And, we haven't visited Big City in a while. I think I kind of miss the Greens. And Gloria. Definitely Gloria. So, Big City Greens returns next week. It's been a while, and I honestly really should have gotten back to this sooner. But I'm glad to be getting back to it nonetheless. I'm very excited to see more. And hopefully, it continues to be just as good as it has been. So yeah. That comes back next week. We'll be continuing that alongside Adventure Time, and we'll just go from there. So, thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts on this final episode of Lazarus. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.